So they're in a Subaru XV 2015, I think. Like basically all your range of a Subaru, Impreza, Forester, all going to be the same. I think it's from about 2011 to probably 2018 before they change that shape. The fascia is going to look like this. It's going to have some vents up the top and a hazard button in the middle. Now the hazard button could be different like sizes. It could be a half size one, or you could have a control button here for that screen. That's okay because our kits come with that like sort of in it. And then around the AC, it's either going to have a sort of like a silver trim or like non-silver trim. So if it has like non-silver trim, you need like this skew for this video, like this one. If it has like silver trim, it's just a different skew you need. They're just slightly different, but that's how you tell the difference. Don't really worry about the button in the middle because we include the insert for both. Just checking out the trims. So we're going to go through and take this like unit out now. Now we've got trim tools in our kit. These pull out are pretty easy. Just be careful on some models. This piece of plastic up the top here is super. It's not UV like stabilizing. It can crack easily. So just be careful up the top. So basically though, if your trim tool in the top here, I could get my hands in here on this one because it was pretty easy. That whole thing just pops out like that. Fairly straightforward. And you pull it out. And there's just a couple plugs in the back here we need to unplug up behind the AC and behind the hazard, and we can pull the whole lot out. So that's that one out, and then there's one up the top here. I'll show you these once they come out. They just have a small little switch to push on the top here to get them out. Tough to get over here so I can actually see. Now if it's a bit tough, I'm just going to use a trim tool to push this tab down. I'll show you that in a second. So there we go, that's out now. I just use the trim tab. That whole thing comes out, so you can see that's the AC panel down here. We'll take a few things off here when we do it. That was the hazard, and that was like the bottom one. So both of those just have a push button on the top. I'll push it down and pull out. If it feels a bit stuck, push it all the way back in, push down hard and pull out. And if you not need to, you can put the trim tool on to help you push it down and pull out. So that is basically that. Then we've got these 4 screws here, and we'll pull this like unit out. We're actually replacing this unit. It's actually a friend of one of our staff members here, but the reverse camera stopped working. They went to the dealership and they charged them $200 and did like nothing. So they might as well just replace the whole unit to get the reverse camera like working. So we'll also find out why that wasn't working anymore, because we're actually on no trigger here for the reverse camera. So like units should work with the factory one, but on this model we'll sort of work out like why hers wasn't working to start with, and it could be a fact that we just have to put one of our cameras in, which comes in the kit anyway. So a few Phillips in here, there, like so. All those will come out like that, and you can just pull the head unit out once those are all out, and it will come out. Now there's a few plugs in the back here. Again, they're the same. Just take you out and show you. You just need to push the tabs in the top and pull them out. So that's the radio all pulled out now. It's the back of it. And if we come in here, you can see these are all our plugs here. It did have like an earth one on the chassis at the bottom, so just remember that. I'll pull them all up, you can see them all. Radio, there's a green one here, and that's a factory USB port, which might be in the glove box, I'll check. So that's all our plugs, so that's fairly easy to get out like that. And I'll show you what's in our kit. Alright, so this is everything that's in the kit. Probably looks like a bit at the start, but we'll explain it to you. We have like a manual, that's just like a flyer there for us. Here's our main unit and like the fascia. So obviously on the back here we have your main 20-pin plug, auxiliary plugs, GPS, 4G, FM and AM. That's that. In this kit we actually have, looks like 2 like harness kits, so depending so what car you have, you'll be using one of these. There's the other insert, so you can swap that out if you had the single button or double button one. The hazard button up the top there, OBD2 scan tool, that's just an SPR connector that can just make it a bit easier to hook up the reverse camera. A hydration assistant, trim removal tools, a 1080p reverse camera, if you need an aftermarket one, that'll be in the kit. A USB drive 8 gig to do our updates in the future if you need to. Just a SIM card, you use this if you want to give the device our internet. So that's the 4G antenna, again there'll be linked to that to give a 4G to the unit. Auxiliary in, pretty much we won't use that. Bluetooth like Wi-Fi antenna, we will use this. Pre-outs if you're running an aftermarket like sub, so you'd either use this one or this one, but majority of people aren't running these, so again you probably won't be using that. 2 USB ports and external mic, video in. You can have a couple video inputs coming into here. USB retention cable, third USB port, that's the GPS, and we do include like a socket extension. This model we do not need it, but like some do. There's just like a little screw, it's like a nut you have to get to sometimes, and like a bendable socket extension makes it possible. So that's everything that's in the kit. Right, so now what I always do is I grab the head unit, I grab the kit that I think it's going to fit. So on like this one there's quite a few wires, so I grab that one and I grab our video in cable. Now you just want to match these up to where they can plug into, and we're just going to do a quick check here that things power on. Not all plugs are going to be like needed, so if there's plugs left over, that's like fine. If it feels like it doesn't go in and click like nicely, just check that there aren't any bent pins in here. So we know we had that extra like, sort of earth on here, which will be interesting, which I'm pretty sure we don't need to worry about on these ones. That's our FM or AM. On here we have the factory mic retention, so we can test what that sounds like. So we can either run the internal, which means we do like nothing, we plug like this one in and we test the factory microphone, or we run the external that we provide in our kit. So that's basically what we're left with. So this one does have a home, there you go. This one will be like our USB retention. That there would have been the old DAB, which we're not going to be using. And that's everything. And then we've got this here was our AC. So we just grab all those, grab the unit, grab this other little cable here, and we'll plug that into here. This is just if you have the factory reverse camera to check that it's not working. Now the factory reverse camera could come from like a number of plugs. We've got 3 options on here, so we can see like one. It can't be like this one, it's not hooked to anything. We have like these two, so we'll have to try both of them to see which one it is. So that goes into there. We could have to sort of swap that, but I'll show you. This plugs into here, and we can plug the radio in. Then we just turn it on. We get power, we get sound, steering wheel controls, and if you had the factory reverse camera, that is working. So I can see we got power here. It will slow boot the first time it turns on, which is fine. I'll just show you that. So there's no CAN bus on this model. So what we have to do is we have to come into here, settings, car infotainment, SWC means like steering wheel. Press the volume up and it'll start flashing green. Then press it on here. Cool. It'll stop flashing. Press the volume down, put it on there. Now you'll see if I press the volume up, you can see that the volume's going up and down now, so that's all fine. The radio.
It's an important thing for lived in Perth in her later years, and I did meet her.
Yep, the radio's working fine. The other thing I like to check too is that all the speakers are working. You can just put your head next to them or whatnot.
Charisma, very calm. She was a tall woman.
Sounds fine to me at the moment. And then the last thing to check is, okay, what happens if we go into reverse? Now the old one didn't do anything, and our one does trigger, which is pretty interesting, but it's saying no signal, which is fine. So the old one didn't even trigger, but our one does. So that would tell me that there could have been something actually like broken in the head unit. It's south the factory head unit. So we're all happy with that. On this one, we're actually going to be. It does have like a factory camera, but we are going to be putting in like an aftermarket one, as we don't think the factory one works anymore. But the original issue was it had like water in it, I think, and then it stopped triggering. So that's cool. We can just unplug it all now. Actually, I might leave it like resting here, because what we're actually going to do is we're going to hook in the aftermarket camera. So if you just did that and put it in reverse and you had a camera view come up, well then your factory camera's working. Actually, what I should have tried, I did mention this before, obviously, if you got no signal, try the other one that was plugged in, which was this one. So purple cable into here.
A story, and I love that.
So your factory camera will normally work.
In mind, so
I'd put it into reverse, and you would get, it shouldn't say no signal, but if you got like a funny looking image, click on that settings, type in 4 zeros, and you might just have to change it to, it'll be like CVBS NTSC, and that'll be the type of format the camera is. But the fact that it said no signal, that means that something's unplugged or broken with that camera on this one, which I knew about anyway. I'm not too sure if it's going to be like same on all Foresters and Prezas and like XV, but this one had the plug here, which was to the reverse camera. We've like pulled that off. We've popped off this bottom trim, and then we've popped out the camera that was in here, and we're just actually going to stick our factory camera on here, hopefully, somehow. We might still need to use the like bracket to screw it on, but that's fine. So that's going to go through here. And then we've come out to our power source and our like camera plug. Now, actually what I worked out here is pretty much on this plug here, the yellow was the power for the camera, the brown was the earth, so the red in there will go to our DC to power our camera, and then this blue and green wire, which are on here, which are actually the ones in the middle, they're our, the green is the positive and the blue is the negative video signal. So we've actually utilize the existing wires here to run this aftermarket camera. Now I've got a feeling that even on cars that don't have a factory camera, just have a look in the boot if you have a plug like this, because you could be able to use the existing wires. If you can't use existing wires, it isn't a big deal. Again, red and black just need to go to reverse power, so you'd probably have to run that through here, down here, and through here, and then get the reverse power from here, and then the RCA cable, which is like this one here, red goes to power as well, so you'd hook this red into the power, and you just have to run that through to behind the head unit. Normally you just can run it underneath the carpet into the door, into the bottom of the door trims, and then behind the head unit. Well, the other option on this one is we did actually have a trailer plug here. We could have just put the camera down low and take in the power from here and then run the RCA cable through. There you go, that's reverse camera there. That's actually like our reverse camera, and I've just mounted it onto the existing spot, so you can see it sort of sticks out a bit further, but it still looks pretty sort of standard. You can choose how you mount this, but I've actually just taped it around and around. That's not going to go anywhere, but you could mount it a bit better, maybe a bit of silicone would be ideal. I put a bit of silicone around it, so I mount it on and then tape it, so if you do have to pull it off in the future you can, or you could use our whole base and stick it on, but I actually took our bracket off and stuck it on the old base. So that's it. Here's the factory fascia, here's ours. 1, 2, 3, 4 Phillips screws, and actually 2 clips on the top. They just lever up with a flathead, and that'll pull out that'll just clip onto our one like so. And then you've got the hazard button that just got 2 push-in things on either side, so you push both of those in and it goes through, and then it'll go backwards into our one like that. And then these clips here, so are the AC vents. They've got clips around the outside, 1, 2 and 2 on the top. This I cracked here, like I said before, these cars, all this is real brittle at the top always, so they will need to come out of the factory one onto our one. So that's all the air vents and the AC controls and the hazard button. You can see the top of these ones are always super brittle. You probably will crack it, it's just the plastic hasn't been UV stabilized correct or something. So that's basically everything you need. So we can go and put our wires in and put this in now. So again, we've got heaps of room to put all our things on, and this car, that's right, I was going to check the factory USB. Yeah, there is a factory USB in the very bottom of here, so we will keep that working because we like to keep the factory things working, and the other ones we will just run to a few different spots. So first we've got our dual USB one. So what's going to happen here, I'll show you, is we'll probably run one with our USB retention cable, which is not that one. Okay, so that's something we might have to include in the kit. We don't have the right USB retention cable for this model, so when you do get this, hopefully we will, if that is the USB retention. I'm just not 100% sure. If we do have it, we do. If we don't, we don't, depending on your model. So anyway, our 2 USBs we're going to put into the glove box now. That's where we don't normally put them all the time anyway. So that's pretty straightforward. You can run them behind this or in front of this, but obviously just get your hands down there, bring them both through like so, put them into there. Now this one, our mic, we will plug into this one right here, and we'll see, before we put it all together, we'll see what it sound like, because we have 3 options. We have that plugged in, run our external one that we have in the kit that we can plug in and run up to the A pillar up there, or just have none and use the internal one. So we'll see, we'll do a test. I'm pretty sure on the Subaru the mic sounds pretty good, like the factory mic still, which is cool. We got that to work. SIM card tray, put that the same in here. That's if you want to give the unit data the whole time. So if you don't know what that's for, then you probably don't even need to worry about too much, but it's good just to have in there so then it's easy to get to. GPS antenna, this just needs a clear view of the sky with no steel above it, so actually just direct it under here is perfect. The only time that would get affected is if you did put stuff on top of there like something steel, but I don't think anyone really does. So put that under there, press it down. It's just a 3M stick pad, so give it a press down for 20 seconds or so, run that back under, have that hanging out. This little one here is our like Bluetooth one. I'll make sure you plug that into the back of the unit. 4G antenna, again, this can go around about the same spot you put the GPS, just give it a few centimeters separation. It's just going to give you your 4G reception. 4G is pretty powerful, so it pretty much works kind of everywhere. So that's like that, all fairly easy. Through into there, just keep this up top because that's your hazard. Third USB, again, all these USBs you don't really even like use now, like wireless CarPlay and stuff, but they are for if you want to use like add-ons, our units, like our dash cam or tyre pressure. Things we release like that, so I just put them in the glove box so you know where to get them if you do need them. And if you do need to sort of run them somewhere, you can always sort of drop by the glove box or out and like run them behind the glove box. Right, so that's everything. I'll do a little bit of taping to tidy it up and then we'll put the unit in. Alright, so now I've just tidied it up like a little bit, come through. I normally like to start from like one side and work my way back to the other. So we had our reverse camera plug. Sorry, that's our, not our reverse one, that's why it didn't go very nice. It's our free 4G one. It's our reverse camera one. So the auxiliary ones, it's our dual USB like microphone one. It's our 4G SIM card one. Got a cam in hooked in. Don't forget our Bluetooth antenna, which goes in by itself like that. And you've got your radio and your 4G and 3G. So I'll just slowly bring these back, and 4G, and then radio, and then remember at the top you've got your hazard, and down the bottom you have your Aircon vent. So this one you normally got to start it going back in. When you get close enough you can sort of plug them in, so lean in a bit. There's plenty of room and stuff for your cables on this one, so that shouldn't be a problem. AC one back in hopefully, like so. Alright, now it's going to sit like this. Now don't quite push it in yet, because what I like to check first is that everything actually works. I normally start the car up now too, just in case you get carried away like playing with this. Sometimes you spend a little time in here, get carried away, and then the actual unit goes, the car can go flat. So we want to make sure it all powers up. Peel off our screen protector. Secondary one that we don't actually need. Okay, so I can tell we've got steering wheel controls now, like radio's like sort of working, so that's fine. Put it into reverse. Got a camera view, that's good. Now that microphone thing, we want to check that out. So we come in here, Bluetooth. On iPhones you normally have to turn it off and back on. I like to pick it up for some reason, don't know why that is. That's us. Android's the same, use Bluetooth first and then it's going to come with your CarPlay. It's going to ask you a few things on your phone, so keep an eye on your phone. And then what it's going to do is it's going to come into here and it's going to ask you one more thing on your phone. Hey Siri, call Geordie work. We'll just see what this the microphone sounds like, because we are using the factory one up here.
Hello?
Yeah, what up? Right, so I just did a little test then. This sounded like fine. So if you wanted to be, I know, real particular about it, you could like pull it out, you could try it with just the internal mic, and you could try it with the external one as well if you really wanted to see. On these like Subis, like normally the factory one's pretty good, and to be honest our internal one's pretty good, or you can run the external one. So cool, everything's working. So now what you want to do is you want to put the unit back in. So these units, just make sure everything clips up. They kind of almost, if you think about it, it's kind of like you're bending the unit in half to fit it back in, if that makes sense. We've done one of these in a while with that. You start with the top or the bottom. Maybe start with the bottom. Right, I knew there was a bit of technique here on this one, I just forgot it. So kind of like, so I tip it out, get that bottom clipped in like first, it'll be nice and like flush down, then it'll go clip. And then kind of sort of work your way up, and then clip in your sides here, and then clip your top in, and that'll be it all mounted back in like that, all looking pretty good. So that's basically it. We'll tidy up that reverse camera I put in. I'll tape up these steering wheel controls again, car infotainment, steering wheel controls. If you just want to go through and learn them all, obviously you push the flashing one, next, back, microphone, mode I normally set to home. Telephone answer and hang up you can set to whatever, doesn't matter too much, but that's basically it. So that gives you all your steering wheel controls all happening, and you can quickly go back home with the mode button. So there we go, it's all pretty easy install here. We managed to reuse those old wires for the reverse camera, and we put our reverse camera on. I'll show you that in like a second. So if you are using the factory one, that's fine, it's going to work as it is. You're going to run our one, you might even be able to like use those same like wires if your car doesn't have one, because I think even the non-reverse camera versions could have that same plug. But there you go, you got Obviously the wireless CarPlay, all at Android Auto. Steering wheel controls all at working. Reverse camera works. Obviously the app itself, the device itself runs on Android, so you have full options there of apps and whatnot, Play Store, etc. All pretty easy and good to do, so all good to go.